Hi gang, Jeff McAleer once again, and today I am mighty pleased to be taking a look at Clank, a deck building adventure, and taking everything outside the box. And I want to point out, I apologize if there's a little bit of a glare going on here because I have not taken the shrink wrap off of the game yet. And there's a reason for that, and I'm going to mention that in just a sec. But Clank is actually, or maybe I should say Clank, is kind of a dungeon delve game. Plays in about 60 minutes, and it's from Direwolf and Renegade Game Studios. And some of you are probably thinking to yourself, geez, Jeff, gosh, we know about Clank. We've known about Clank for about a year now. What's going on? Well, I have to admit, Renegade Game Studios, I didn't know much about their games until recently, actually until this past Origins Games Fair. So this is new to me. I'm excited. I really want to dig into this game. And of course I have to do an unboxing video first. But the reason why I let the shrink wrap on is because Clank carries the Dice Tower Seal of Excellence. And I just want to point out that, yes, I tease Tom Vasel. I do it publicly. I do it to his face. I just tease Tom. I like Tom Vasel. I like the Dice Tower. And those of us in the know do realize that there are companies out there that you can cut a check to, and they will give you an award. And it's Dr. Fun says this is great, or Professor Fun, or whoever. And I'm sure somebody's going to be sitting there listening to this going, well, a little defamation of character lawsuit. But regardless, we do realize that there are companies out there who will give a seal of approval to a steaming pile if the check is big enough. Dice Tower isn't like that. Tom Vasel's not like that. If you see a seal of excellence, now granted, you might kind of disagree on how good the game is, but when you see this, you know you're 99% likely to enjoy the game. So I just wanted to point that out. That's why I left the shrink wrap on. There's a lot of crappy awards out there. The Dice Tower isn't one of them. So, flipping this over, we don't see a whole lot of info on the back of the box. But each of the 4 players, or up to 4 players, are trying to get as much loot as they possibly can from this dungeon before this dragon will try to stop them. So that is pretty much what you're looking at as far as this game. Okay, so we've got the shrink wrap off, and now the glare is gone, but so is the Dice Tower logo. And I do want to mention, talking about recommendations and so on and so forth, a really good pal of mine in the gaming industry, game designer Herman Lettman, who visitors to the gaming gang probably know from Dawn of the Zeds especially. But he's done a lot of other war games and things like that. Not always war games too, but Dawn of the Zeds is probably going to be what everybody recognizes Herman's name from. Herman told me that Clank is like his favorite newish game design out there. He loves this game. So when somebody who's a game designer tells me that, it's like, I want to see this game. So now that we've got the shrink wrap off, let's pop this open. And I do apologize. The bird Fruit Loop over here is carrying on quite a bit. So you're probably hearing Fruit Loop. Yes, thank you, Fruit Loop, as I mentioned the bird's name. So Clank, a deck building adventure, has a very Euro game flavor to it, which probably is going to throw some folks off. Because when they think of deck builders, they don't always think Euro game. Unless we're talking maybe about Dominion. So we're looking at the rulebook here. So it's showing our components, the setup. Looks like the map there. So you want to be a thief? Well, not necessarily. Step 1, the targets, the plan, Getting gold, Clank. You're trying to be as quiet as possible because causing a lot of noise is going to alert the dragon. The mark, the getaway, the end of the line, advanced maneuvers, and credits. So all in all, we are not looking at a super hefty rule book to jump in and start playing. Alright, so we got the map. And I'll take a closer look at that in just a second. I do want to point out, if you have not checked out either my Origins Games Fair interview or my Gen Con 50 interview with Sarah Erickson from Renegade Games Studio, you really ought to check it out. She has become one of my favorite people to chat with because, number one, she's loads of fun to talk with. She understands a joke because if you're one of these people who watches the interviews that I do, I like to kid around. I mean, come on, we're talking about games. It's not brain surgery. And loads of fun. So definitely check those out. So we're taking a look at some of the counters here. Some of these are dual-sided. In fact, it looks like they're all dual-sided. It's just a question mark there. Alright. Oh, hey, look. We got a nice velvety drawstring bag. Hey, actually, that's pretty cool because that is stitched into the bag. That is not something that's just been adhered to. Yep, see? You can tell right there. It's stitched in the bag, so that's pretty nice. Pretty cool. Yeah. So we got a dragon meeple. That's nice. Okay, and then we're going to have some cubes and so forth because, remember, this is kind of a Euro-style game. So it looks like we've got cubes for 4 different player colors. Yep. Alright, black cubes. I'm going to take a wild stab that those are probably bad. So you don't want those black cubes. And then final bag here. Very cool. And then it looks as if we've got 3 decks of cards. So give me a second here. I'm going to open these up and we'll take a peek at the cards. I'm not going to look at every single card because those of you who usually watch my unboxing videos, I like to keep some surprises in store. You don't want to see everything with a game, at least in my opinion. So let's take a look at these decks of cards. Okay, so I have unwrapped these and let's take a look. What's that? Alright. I was like, wait a second. Make sure that's not a damaged card. I have a feeling that we might be looking at these cards are all going to have the same backing, or a vast majority will have the same backing. Looks like that might be the case. What? What? A blatant advertisement for another game inside a game? I've never seen that. Eternal, a strategy card game. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Looks as if... No, that's a monster card. So that's dual-sided. So we got the goblin. Wow, you can't tell me that's the only monster. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. That's probably from Eternal. Alrighty. Sorry. Okay, so it looks as if all the cards have the same backing. So they're all going to, I guess, be equally valued. Or I can't imagine you're going to have one huge deck that everybody's going to draw from. So we've got Explore. A bunch of those. Secret Tome. burgle, scramble. And from my understanding, what a lot of these cards are going to do is they're actually going to kind of improve the abilities of your thief, because that's what each of the 4 players, or up to 4 players, are actually portraying in the game, are thieves who are trying to get in there and steal the treasure from the dragon. Yeah, see, now we start seeing some much more rare cards. Flying carpet, lucky coin, pickaxe, ruby, mercenary. Oh, I guess you can get some companions to help you out with some of the fighting. Alright, cool deal. So we've got all the cards. Let's plop that in there, and it looks like the way the game box has been set up is you can actually put in some of the expansions. Now there are 2 expansions that are out for Clank at the moment. One is Sunken Treasures, and the new one that just came out at Gen Con that looks really cool actually takes you into outer space, and I believe the game board is broken up, so you've got a lot of different ways that you can configure the game board, which is pretty cool. Vault, Archaeologist, yeah, these are all fairly rare cards. Nice. So, as far as Clank, we've got the various different cards. I don't think I can sneak that in. Nope, won't fit. Alright, good try. So we got the cards, we got the advertisement. Alright, plop that in there. We've got the various different colored cubes. We've got the really nice stitched draw bag. We've got the tokens, and then we've got the map that I have not taken a closer look at. So let's try to open this up a little bit. I don't think it's huge. Nope, it's not. So I think I might be able to get most of this into the shot without resorting to a different camera. Alright, so it looks like this is probably where you start coming in, because this is kind of a push your luck game as well. You don't necessarily have to go all the way down to the deepest levels of this dungeon to get the goodies, because the deeper you go, obviously enough, the more dangerous it becomes. So, very nice. Very, very cool. Now, I will point out that, oh, and it's dual-sided too, so it's possible you might be looking at, for a 2-player game, you use one board, and for 3 or 4, you use the different board, or it's possible that you want a more advanced game, so on and so forth. But as I started to say, as I popped the rules in, Clank does carry an MSRP of $60. And I'm sure there's some folks out there who might say, ooh, whoa, wait a second, Jeff. I just watched your video. $60. I mean, I'm used to seeing miniatures and things like that. Yes, and I get that. I understand that. But when you get a game that's super cool and you're going to bring it to the table a lot, I don't really concern myself that much with MSRP. Because if you think about it, let's say you got a family of 4, you got 4 friends, and you go to the movies, and you're easily going to drop $60 with the 4 of you going to a movie, and you may end up going and seeing the latest, I don't know, Rob Zombie movie, and sitting there thinking to yourself, well, why didn't I just burn that money? So, as far as the MSRP, I think $60 from what I'm seeing here and from what I've heard about this game is extremely fair and probably a very good deal. So that is everything from Clank, a deck building adventure when we take it outside the box. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and for the latest in gaming news, reviews, movies, TV, comics, you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And until next time, thanks for watching.